Neo, no one has ever done anything like this.
That's why it's going to work.
Chapter 3. Exploring the Matrix Rabbit Hole. As my journey into the world of the Matrix continued, I learned that Keanu Reeves himself had to do extensive preparation for his role as Thomas Anderson. Apparently, he had to read 3 key books: Out of Control by Kevin Kelly, Simulacra and Simulation by Jean Baudrillard, and works on evolutionary psychology. I knew I had to dive into those texts as well if I wanted to truly understand the depth of what this film was exploring. So I set out to read them all, hungry to uncover every layer of meaning and philosophical resonance within the Matrix. The ideas in those books, about the blurring of simulation and reality, the nature of control systems and emergent behaviors, the evolutionary underpinnings of human consciousness. They took my understanding of the film to a whole new level. It was as if I was peeling back veil after veil, descending deeper into the rabbit hole alongside Thomas Anderson himself. With this expanded intellectual foundation, I returned to The Matrix, watching it over and over again. I became an obsessive Easter egg hunter, decoding every frame and line of dialogue, searching for hidden meanings and cryptic references. It was like I was trying to map out every inch of this fascinating rabbit hole I had fallen into. The more I immersed myself, the more I felt like I was mirroring Thomas Anderson's own journey of awakening and discovery. Just as he was pulled from the comfortable illusion of his perceived reality, I too found the foundations of my worldview shifting and blurring. I questioned everything: the nature of consciousness, the true fabric of existence, the unseen forces that might be controlling our lives. Through this process, I learned so much. Reflections of Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Greek philosophy all seemed to converge within the world of the Matrix. This was just the start of my journey, though. At the time, I had no idea there were plans for the Animatrix, the Matrix Reloaded, and the Matrix Revolutions. But I had come to think of the original film as a mirror, and my own journey with it as a kind of personal Thomas Anderson story. BAM! Chapter 4. Diving deeper into my own Thomas Anderson. Back then, there were 2 main online forums where people were deeply discussing and analyzing The Matrix: The Last Free City and Matrix Explained. As I immersed myself in these communities, I quickly realized that each individual there was on their own version of a Thomas Anderson journey, much like my own. Given that I am human and flawed, I have to admit that I often felt my own personal exploration of the film was far more profound than theirs. While others seemed content to examine the bigger picture connections between the Matrix and religion, philosophy, or the nature of simulation, I was laser-focused on really studying the specific story of Thomas Anderson told within the film. This disconnect was only heightened by the fact that the majority of the forum participants appeared to be from the United States or Canada. They had relatively ordinary lives compared to my own circumstances. You see, I was living under the oppressive rule of a dictatorship that outright hated mixed-race people like myself. In that context, it was incredibly difficult for me to truly connect with the perspectives and experiences of my fellow Matrix enthusiasts. They had the luxury of contemplating the film's deeper themes from the comfort of their relatively stable lives. Meanwhile, I was engaged in a constant struggle just to survive and maintain my sense of self in the face of such systemic prejudice. So I found myself increasingly isolated, delving ever deeper into my own personal reflection of Thomas Anderson's journey. I dissected every frame, every line of dialogue, searching for meaning that resonated with the unique challenges I was facing. The truth was, even after all my efforts, the film itself still hadn't fully answered the burning question that had initially drawn me in. What exactly is the Matrix? The more I grappled with that central mystery, the more I realized my quest for understanding was inextricably linked to my own fight for identity, freedom, and truth in the face of oppression. Thomas Anderson's awakening had become a mirror for my own, even as the details of his world diverged so dramatically from my own lived experiences. It was a profoundly lonely and yet profound journey. While my fellow Matrix fans pursued their own paths of inquiry, I was forging an intensely personal relationship with the film,
one that spoke directly to my most fundamental struggles and desires.
The search for the true nature of the Matrix had become intertwined with my own search for self, for meaning, in a world that often seemed intent on denying my very existence.